Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a weekly show on different aspects of the sport of paintball. A huge fan of the sport. I've been playing paintball since 2003, so I feel I have a little bit of knowledge that I want to share with people. And this video tonight is going to be particularly focused on the people who have gone paintballing once and are interested in getting into it further, or also people who have never heard or seen paintball and what the heck, what do I even start with even if I want to get into it. And that's what my main focus is tonight. If you are a experienced paintballer and you say, hey, you know what, I don't agree with what you're saying, please leave a comment, because the thing is, like everything else, I'm always learning. So tonight, again, I'm going to go over based on what kind of gear you need to have, the most inexpensive route to go, and what different things you can get, potentially depending on what format you do. Woods ball, speedball, and there's pump tournaments now, mechanical tournaments. And you're going to be like, well, what does that mean? I will actually get to that I'll get to that aspect near the end. But the first part I'm going to go over is, hey, I'm thinking about getting into paintball. What gear would you recommend? So the first thing I would recommend, as always, is what kind of marker do you want to get? Generally, the one I recommend for people who want to go play in the woods is the one and only Tippett 98 Custom. This marker right here, it is the AK-47 of paintball markers. It is phenomenal. I love everything, every aspect of it. Every aspect of it. And this is what they consider a mechanical paintball marker. It's all a bolt system. It's all mechanical based. There's no electronic parts to it. Minus this hopper, don't look at that. But generally when you get something like this, it's going to come with a stock barrel and a CO2 tank. CO2 in this case would be what's powering the Tippmann or the paintball marker, and the barrel right here is the stock barrel. This is highly upgraded. It has a different barrel system on it, different hopper. Generally when you buy a Tippmann 98 Custom, it'll come with what's called a gravity fed hopper. Pretty much you load the paintball in and the paintballs literally just drop in. So they're just going, every single time you shoot, the paint just drops. And sometimes you'll keep shooting and there's nothing in there. You'll shake your gun like this and then it'll start feeding it. And I'm going to go over what this is for you too later on. But again, guys, if you're going to go with a first time paintballing, you're going to go play in the woods, and you're like, hey, I really want to get a marker that's going to be really reliable, that's going to be durable, that's going to be price friendly. Generally, you can get the whole kit for about 150 bucks. I believe it comes with a mask, and it comes with a CO2 tank. I'm going to touch on CO2 tanks and masks for you, and why these are not necessarily good things. So that's going to be actually the next step we're going to go to. So that's a Tippett Custom, costs about 150 bucks brand new. You can generally get them used for about maybe 50 to 80 bucks used. So make sure you shop around if you're interested in going a little bit cheaper on that aspect. If you were looking to spend a little bit more money, around $220, you can get what's called an EMEC from Planet Eclipse. Phenomenal marker. My buddies own it and they love every aspect of it. It shoots smooth, it shoots great. It's just more if you're looking at getting into the sport and don't want to invest a lot, Tippmann 98 Custom. If you're looking to spend an additional 70 bucks, get the EMEC. Now, the biggest part that we're going to run into now, so say you got your Tippmann and you have, okay, I need to be able to fire the paintball projectiles. Generally, they give you what's called a CO2 tank. This tank right here, this is I believe a 9 ounce. So they don't even make this one anymore. This one was 2006, yeah, 2006. So I can't even use this anymore, but it's just for demonstration. Generally, if you go to a field and you're like, hey, I have a CO2 tank, they're like, here, take this other tank. What the other tank they're generally going to give you is a compressed air tank. Generally, these tanks are a little bit more expensive, but they're actually going to be better for the marker. The reasoning why is that CO2 naturally is a liquid that shoots out, turns into a gas. It's cold. It's really, really cold. Mechanical markers can take it, where electronic markers cannot. And that's going to be a whole different ballgame on that aspect of that. And I'll go over electronics for you too. So if you're going to get into the sport, and you can get what's called a steely. This is steel. And the tank I have is carbon fiber. So it's going to be lighter, it's going to be a lot lighter, and it's going to be lighter. When you can get a steely version of this, you can get them used if you want to, or else you can get them for like 110 bucks around there. I'll take a look at the pricing on that for you as well. But it's going to be, you're going to want to go around a compressed air tank route, because if you go to a field, they're just going to hand you one anyways. By this time, if you want to go play in the woods with your friends, this is going to be the better route to go, and I'm not even sure if anybody fills up CO2 tanks anymore. So that's the other issue you might run into. So you have your tank now, which we talked about the difference between CO2 and compressed air. Compressed air is also a little not going to freeze up your internals. Next is, what kind of hopper should I get? So on here I have the original Spire. You don't have to go this extravagant. This is just an extra I had. There's you can get an electronic hopper. What that's going to do is actually there's little feelers inside there that are going to feed the paintballs into the gun itself. So instead of hoping for the paintball to actually drop in, this will feed it in. I'm a big Spire fan, so if you can find Spires, they're great. They're expensive though. You can also go with a dirotor for about $150, or else there are lower end hoppers. If you're like, hey, I just need this thing to feed it in, around $80. I believe View Loader might have one. If you can find an old Empire B or a dirotor, they can do the job for you for the Tippmann. You don't need it to be super special if you're playing in the woods. It's going to be fine. You just need something to feed that paint in there. Now, the other aspect that we're going to run into for paintball is in my opinion, the most important part of any paintball gear you get. And that's going to be your mask. You're going to see a bunch of people wearing like these safety glasses and goggles on a TV. It takes me off, infuriates me, gets me really, really mad. You're going to also, if you get the Tippmann 90 custom package, they're going to come with a mask. Just toss those in the garbage. They're junk, complete utter garbage. If you ever rented gear from a field and went playing and you noticed your lens fogged up, it's because they're cheap mask. So what I would recommend is, if you're wanting to get into it, V-Force Profilers. They cost about $50. They have a great view. The anti-fog lens are not going to fog up on you. I actually feel they're actually great to breathe in. They fit great on my ginormous head. Great, again, great view. They're not going to fog up. That's the biggest thing. They're not going to fog up on you. So, one thing I can recommend, get a good mask. This is the most important part of any gear you get. This is what's going to save you. This is what's going to protect your face, your eyes. Also, it's going to actually make the difference between having a good time and a bad time. You can have the best marker out there. If your mask sucks, you're not going to enjoy your day. So, that's where we're going from there. $50, V-Force Profilers. Just spend that money, you're going to be fine. Now, a little bit of things that people ask me, like, oh, can I upgrade? I want to be more military tactic, or I want to get into scenario. What's really cool now is that they actually do have what's called mag-fed woods ball markers. I don't have one. I don't do a lot of woods balling, but I use my Tippmann for that aspect. They're actually magazine fed. Other people are like, can I look like a M16? Well, you can. I don't necessarily have that, but this one right here is a butt stock, retractable butt stock, and what's called an Apex barrel, different kind of barrel system. This actually curves paintballs, which I've actually shot somebody out with. It's phenomenal. There's so much you can do with these. You make it look like an AK-47 if you wanted to, or an M16, or you can make it look like a little. There's different types of paintball markers out there that will make it look a little more scenario-like. And there are big events called D-Day that you can go play with, and you're gonna have people from speedball markers to electronic markers to mechanical markers and pumps. And mechanicals are actually making a huge comeback now because there's actually a lot of mechanical tournaments, and that's what this Tippmann is, mechanical on that aspect. Now, optional gear. Optional gear that I do recommend, first and foremost, arm pads and knee pads. I don't have to say a lot on this. Protect your knees, protect your elbows, protect your arms. It's night and day difference being able to enjoy going out and playing paintball with just protecting your knees and protecting your elbows and hands. So, Empire makes a good brand. Arm pads, I'm a big fan of them. They've held up for me. Exalt's another good brand. Dye makes good knee pads. So it's all personal preference on that aspect. People are like, oh, you're gonna, go with Dye, go with Planet Clips. I'm gonna say go with what's comfortable for you. Go into a store, see if you can try on the knee, find a paintball store, see if you can try them on, or see if you got a buddy that has knee pads that you want to try on. That's the best route to go. I can't say, well, this one's better than this one. I don't have that opinion. You're going to have people with multiple opinions when you go paintballing, but I'm giving you my opinion on stuff. Find what's comfortable for you. That's number one thing. Find what's comfortable for you and what's going to protect you the most. I'm 6'5", so my knees are important to me. Now, another optional gear that you can get is called a pod pack. So you have two different types of pod packs. The one you have, first off, what a pod pack is, when you're out in the woods or on a speedball field, you're gonna have you're gonna run out of paint. You're like, oh crap, what do I do? That's why you get pod pack. You pull that out. There's your paint. It's a little bit more full, but it's just for a demonstration example. These are really important. You can get like a 3-pack from me for like $20. They're not expensive for a pod pack. The more intricate you get, the more expensive they get. But if you're again just going out in the woods, just playing regular speedball, or just going out and playing the scenario, just get a pod pack that holds pods. Pods are about $1.50 each, depending on which ones you get. They're more expensive and less expensive, but around $1.50, $1.50. Now there are two different types of pod packs that you can get as well. The strap and strapless. So naturally, the straps, as you can see right here, you'll pull this down. The pod will go in here, like so. I'll actually just demonstrate that. As you see, the pod's being held in by the strap. Pull that down, pull out, giggity. The ones I use are strapless. So I'll run around. The only thing holding it is actually this elastic right here, holding that, and down here, all I have to do is, instead of having a strap, I actually just pull. Got my pods. So that is a example I really do recommend, is getting a pod pack. Even if it's 2, it's better than having 100, 120 rounds and like, oh, I'm out, I don't have any more paint. These pods will carry about 100, 120, around there. So that's one of the biggest issues that, first and foremost, you need to get is your gun, your marker. Tip 98 custom for the woods. You're gonna have the gravitational hopper. If you're okay with that, you're fine. I do recommend getting a different tank, compressed air tank. They call them a Steely. That's around $80 around there. And then most importantly, your mask. Get a V-Force profiler. It's inexpensive. It's $50 to $55, and it's gonna be one of the best routes for you to go. And then if you get really into it, and if you're playing in the woods, just wear camouflage. You're gonna be fine. They won't see you. Now, there's another aspect of the sport that I want to talk about a little bit more too, is that there are speedball tournaments. So what speedball is, you might see it, they have like inflatable bunkers. Generally they have inflatable bunkers. There's a 5-man versus 5-man. The markers themselves, as you can tell by this guy right here, a lot more slimmer. This is what they call an electronic marker. So if I turn this on right here, hold this button down right here, this actually has its own motherboard that I can actually program to how I want it to shoot, how smooth, how it controls the bolt system inside here. And inside right here, they have what's called eyes. There's a beam that are eyes. So the paintball drops in, and it's going to register that there's paintball there, and then it will shoot. If it doesn't register, there's no paintball there, it won't shoot. So then that's what the importance of your hopper is. Again, I got a spire on this guy right here. This will, as you heard, it's going to spin the paintball in there. And this is important for speedball because these markers are shooting about 10.5 balls per second. That's the tournament grade. Everybody's doing it. And also you can tell on here as well, I do have a compressed air tank on here. If I put a CO2 tank on here and I'm shooting as fast as I am, my O-rings inside here, I'm going to turn my marker off. There's no air, but my O-rings are going to freeze up with CO2. So that's why it's really important not to get CO2 if you can. Again, I'm not even sure who fills it up. Generally, they're just going to hit the compressed air tank. But don't put CO2 on an electronic marker and shoot it that fast. It's a no bueno. Don't recommend it at all. Don't do it. Again, this marker I can do what's called, it's an electronic marker. It has its own little motherboard inside there that I can do firmware updates. It's a whole different ballgame on that aspect. And being an electronic marker does not make it a speedball marker. It just makes it speedball. It makes it equal to everybody else's who would be using it. And it's really important to have the hopper that feeds in there. This one will feed the 10.5 balls per second. Generally, they feed faster. I remember playing one at 15 balls per second. So this is if you want to get into the tournament aspect of the speedball. This is you can get different speedball electronic markers from about $200 all the way up to $1,600. It's all depending on what kind of marker you want to shoot. Brands I do recommend. I do love my Dye DSR, phenomenal marker. No issues about it. And the other marker company that I really do like are Planet Eclipse. They make a great marker. They make the Fisher Price markers that you can just toss them around and they'll be fine, or you don't have to do maintenance on it. Do maintenance, but you don't have to do maintenance on it, and it's going to work great. Not a big fan of Empire. That's a me thing. Every single time I've owned an Empire marker, it's been real finicky for me. Their customer service is great. I will never take that away from them. Customer service is phenomenal. It's just depending on what you're getting. Empire Axes are good starter markers. The Vanquish wasn't a bad marker. It's just as terrible on air efficiency, so I wouldn't be getting as much air when I'm in a match compared to other markers. So that's just some things I want to talk about on that. And there are now pump tournaments. I don't have a pump marker. Just how it sounds, just like a regular, like a shotgun. You go pop, shoot, it'll be a pump, pop, reload again, pump. There are conversion kits that you can make different marker pump. You're better off buying those separately. Those are about around $250 maybe. I don't do much of that, but the thing is too, mechanical tournaments are making a comeback that you can only use mechanical paintball markers. That's like the Tippmann. That's like the EMEC. And then if you just want to go play, go with the Tippmann, and then you go from there. See what you like and what you don't like. Every marker is gonna be different, but one thing I can tell you, the Tippmann's gonna fit for everybody. Okay, guys. Also, one last thing. If you do get into speedball a little bit more, you can get what's called paintball pants. You can tell right here. These are HKs. They have pockets for days on these ones. I don't know why. Dear God, I don't know why. There's a spot you can put squeegees. So paintball breaks in your barrel. There's a little squeegee. Just put it in there, pull it out. It cleans it up. There's padding around there, so you're gonna chance the paintball bouncing off you. It's a good chance too. And they're somewhat light. If you're playing in the woods, just wear camouflage. You're okay. You don't have to get these. Just go to Goodwill, get some camouflage pants. And then once you get further into tournament wise, you can start getting jerseys like this. My camera's backwards. So this says Desolation. Or is this backwards? Yeah, it's backwards. It says Desolation on here. Different sponsors on there. And then you get your nice little name on the back too, right here. So guys, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave a comment. Please feel free to message me on Facebook or even on Twitter. I'm all over the place on Twitter. And again, this is just a rough idea of what you can get. If you guys want a link to where the items are at, I will be more than willing to help you along the way. Okay, guys, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. We try to make a video every single week. And once we get to warmer weather, it's wonderful 27 degrees outside in Ohio, I will be doing drill videos that you can do for speedball. So stay tuned, guys. Again, thank you so much for everything. Have a good night.